My child-free friend was livid because we brought our son and told us that we ruined the trip for being entitled parents. Now she's not only child-free, she's also friend-free. Me and my wife Angie have a son, Sam, who turned 2 this week. We're part of a friend group made up of 7 people, including us. There is one more couple in this group. The other 3 are Zoe, Greg and Tim. Zoe doesn't like kids. She openly avoids them whenever she can. I've always known about this, and have no problem with it. There have, however, been occasions in which she seemed to take it a bit too far. The friend group lives all over the country now, and most of us only get together once or twice a year. This January, we all decided to take a 5-day trip to Greg's beach house. It's in a different state, and a 2-hour flight away. Both Greg and Tim have children. Greg made sure to invite us over while his kid was with his ex, but Tim is a single father and couldn't afford to leave his daughter with a babysitter for 5 days. Due to that, it was decided that both Tim's daughter and Sam were welcome on the trip. Angie and I offered to leave Sam with my mother-in-law, but the whole group, including Zoe, said it was fine. All of these decisions were made 2 months in advance. 2 days prior to the trip, Tim informed us that his daughter had chicken pox, and he had to cancel their tickets to stay with her. At that, Zoe called Angie and said, "Guess your mom will have a busy week." My mother-in-law was traveling and wouldn't be back for another week. We had no other babysitting options available, or time to find one, so we told Zoe that we were still bringing Sam with us. Zoe protested, saying that she was only okay with having kids around during the trip because she knew Tim had no choice, and we had no excuse to bring Sam now that Tim's daughter wasn't coming anymore. But we held our ground. The others took our side. During the trip, Angie and I made efforts to help Zoe avoid Sam as much as possible. This ended up making our own trip underwhelming, as we were spending a lot of time apart and didn't get to see our friends as much as we wanted to, but it worked. Zoe and Sam were in the same room a total of 4 times, including both our arrival and departure from Greg's house. In spite of that, she insists that we ruined her trip by bringing him, and that it was selfish of us to not consider her feelings about children after Tim dropped out. Zoe hasn't spoken to us since we flew back home. This week, she unfollowed Angie on Instagram 10 minutes after she made a post for Sam's 2nd birthday, so I think she's still bitter. Angie has been feeling guilty about this. I tried to reassure her we had no other option and it was unreasonable of Zoe to ask us to change our plans at the last minute like that, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't consider we might be in the wrong. Update: I don't think this is the best place to describe an almost decade-long friendship in proper detail, but I will say Zoe was usually a nice and generous friend. But she started getting more and more rude as we started having kids. She basically ignored my wife during her pregnancy and made several demeaning comments after Sam was born. Angie only forgave her because she apologized, half-heartedly if you ask me. The other couple in the friend group has been trying to conceive for a few months, and she frequently jokes that they need to enjoy life while they can. She's nicer to Tim because he's a single father, but she very clearly doesn't like his daughter. So I think that everyone, myself included, is much more fond of college Zoe, and it was only because of that fondness that we still hung out. The more I read your comments, the more it became clear the group has outgrown that friendship. Looking back, I feel awful about my efforts to keep Sam and Zoe apart. My son is not toxic, and I shouldn't have treated him as such. If Zoe can't respect Sam and treat him like a human being, I have no obligation to put up with her. I spoke to Angie. She said that Zoe had always been a shoulder to cry on, but often also the reason she was crying in the first place. She told me it had been hard to accept that, but Zoe's behavior during the trip was the last straw. We agreed to end our friendship with her. We both texted Zoe that we wished her well, but it's best that we go our separate ways. She responded by calling my wife the C word and was blocked. We later found out she'd complained to the rest of the group, plus some other mutuals, that we'd become selfish, entitled parents who let our kid ruin her vacation before cutting her off. Those who know that's not true have told us they're thinking about ending their friendships with her as well. Both Greg and Tim already have. I don't think I have anything else to add. I'll do my best to use this experience to become a better father, husband, and friend. My family is everything to me, and I'll never lose sight of that.